Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Welcome to the Detroit Lions pregame show here on the Woodward Sports Network. I'm Jeff Iafrate, and of course we got Booner and Michael Gentry and KG here in the studio with you. And let's go. Lions are competing to make an NFC Championship game. Yeah, I said that. And now we know who will be on the other side of that when they get there, and that's the San Francisco 49ers coming off of it's kind of a sneak away win. Because listen, I told you guys they'd cover. I was wrong. I still picked them to win. They won. The Packers lose 24-21. We're here, though, and the Lions, this is a huge stage. It's at Ford Field, standing room only. How are we feeling this morning, KG?
Hey, I'm feeling good, man. I'm ready for the day. I'm really confident in this Lions team. Not to say I'm overlooking Tampa Bay, but I'm just really confident in what we got here, and this home crowd is going to be freaking electric. Last home game of the year. Y'all bring that energy if y'all going down there, but let's get it, baby. Lions victory today. Let's get it.
Yeah, if you're heading down there, number one, it's going to be a party, and especially if they win. It's different because the last game ended at about 11, 12 o'clock. This game is going to be done at about 6:15. So there's still plenty of daylight left.
Oh, yeah.
Can't imagine what people are going to be
doing.
I'm
ready to go. I've got the mullet, fresh cut mullet. Hey, new Booner today, baby. Let's go.
Hey, I got the Pico. It's all business. It is all business, R&B. Right. To the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because
it's all part of the path, baby. That's all it is. It's all part of the path.
Oh, here we go.
It's all part of the path.
We doing this? We're doing this right
it's
now.
A big
you
day.
know you're doing
Think about, dude, I've been talking about the Pats since day one. And guess what there's a chance to do today? Detroit Lions have a chance to go to the NFC Championship game. How like, that's all we could ask for.
Second time in the Super Bowl era or the big game era.
They have a chance they are playing with the NFC Championship on the line.
Yes.
And a date with the San Francisco 49ers. Mm-hmm. And that has been all season long. I think, and Jeff, you could disagree, like, at the beginning of the year, when we talked about a chance to go, when I started talking about the path, it was, hey, they get to the NFC Championship game. They have one game where they're going to have to beat a 49ers team, and I think they can do it. And it starts today. You have to take care of business today, though, Jeff. You have to go out there and win this game today.
Yeah, and it's not a disrespect to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think what they've done this year, what Baker's done, changing and kind of turning the narrative around on his career. I mean, having a great season so far this season.
Yes,
and
he has.
He's coming off. There's been stretches this season where he struggled, but certainly over the last stretch of games, I think he's played really, really well. Coming off a huge win. This is a confident Bucs team. But again, even though the Bucs technically record-wise are better on the road, I've been saying this, Booner, and I'm going to stand on it. Ford Field is one of the toughest places to play, especially in this type of environment. I think the Lions this season are like 7-2 at home, I believe. And now we're in a playoff environment. The crowd's going to be crazy. They're probably going to break the decibel record. Let's roll. Let's roll.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is right now, you would have to say Ford Field's the toughest place to play in the NFL. Like in the playoffs right now, you have to say that. And it's the loudest place. They broke the record. It's been the loudest in the last 10 years in any NFL game. It's up there. It's the toughest place in the NFL to play.
It's something we all envisioned when this team started winning. We knew, because these fans are different. They're starving. They're starving for success. Excuse me. And they're coming off a playoff win. So for this game, you have an opportunity to reach an NFC Championship. And I think it's great for a lot of different reasons. And I mentioned this when we were filming for our podcast, Crunch Time, and I talked a lot about it and what I think. And when we're on Woodward Nights as well, when I come on Fridays, 9 o'clock, by the way, check out Woodward Nights on Friday.
Shout out!
They allow me to come on and talk
Friday Fridays, baby.
But when I came out, we had this discussion. I think it's great for the Lions because they're favorites. They're expected to win this game. Yeah. Like, they're expected, and you're deep in the playoffs. You're facing an inferior team, and they're expected to win. This is a great thing for this team because, like I said on your show, for a while there, it seems like what's been fueling this team is being the underdog, being the team that's overlooked, right? We're Detroit grit, and they still represent those things. But now it's like, no, Detroit, you're supposed to win.
Yeah, I mean,
Tampa Bay's an inferior team. You're supposed to win. They're minus almost 300 on FanDuel. So I think it's a great thing. You're expected to win. Now go do it.
Yeah, I think Dan Campbell, though, he does this is why I think he's one of the best coaches in the NFL. Is he does such a good job at finding ways to motivate guys.
Absolutely.
Like whether you're favored, you're underdogs, whatever it is, he finds a way to motivate guys. And at the end of the day, like look at a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown. He just got all pro, but guess what? He's still thinking about that Pro Bowl that he got snubbed on, and he's finding different reasons. And I think it might have been E&E that talked about it a little bit about, like, look at the all-time greats guys. They always find a reason to be great. They always find an excuse or something that people are going at them for to find that motivation to go win. And I think, like, everyone on this Lions team, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, like J-Mo, Jahmyr Gibbs, they're always Jared Goff. He's been written off, and I think they're always trying to find ways. And to be honest, that's kind of part of what they are about in Detroit here too. It's like, hey, people try and write us off. No, we're going to go out there and we're going to work harder than you, and we're going to dominate you. And that's kind of what that persona that they built into this season, and not even just this season, but like the whole regime and everything. So, even underdogs, favorites, I don't care. I think this team goes out there and they dominate. They dominate, and whether it's a close game or not, they're going to go out there and they're going to dominate today.
Just win. That's
all that matters.
You win by one, like you did last week. Hell, I don't care.
Like Neil Rule said all year long, and like I know in the regular season you might want to see more, bigger wins to say that you show that you can dominate. It's in the NFL, dude. If you just get a win, it's a win, and especially in the playoffs, you just need to win to get in or to keep moving forward. Because if you lose, you're done. Just win, get to the 49ers, and then when you get there, go win that. And then whoever you play in the Super Bowl, you go win that. That's all it is. You are literally right now 3 games away from winning a Super Bowl.
The quote Al Davis, just win, baby. Just win,
baby.
That's all that
No
matters.
matter how it looks.
Whether you win 2-0 or you win by 1 like you did last week. Just win, baby. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. Shout out to the people for joining the show as well. Mr. Ray says, Jeff dressed like he's got a baby on the way. Booner dressed like he still hasn't woken up from that UFC 297 snooze fest. It was a snooze fest.
I did win some money, though. Shout out.
He did.
I did.
We were all watching it together. Booner, you did make some money there.
Shout out Duplessis. Might have pronounced that wrong, but
Vincent Ellison
here today, baby.
Vincent Ellison says Dan Campbell said if you're looking for us, you don't have to look too far. We'll be on your front porch.
Yeah.
Funky says Neil did say that until December, but okay.
Did he stop saying that in December?
Funky pays attention.
Shout out
knows.
Funky.
Robert Swift says, or do you not base anything? Oh, he's talking about something else. No, he's having a different conversation there. He says, question. Here it is. If the Lions were to lose this game against Tampa, where do you think Tampa will outplay the Lions in the area of weakness that needs to be addressed in the offseason by the draft or free agency?
I think it's obvious.
Yeah.
Very obvious.
Yeah.
I think there's one position group that is.
Robert, it would be the bend, don't break, but you break.
But you're right.
Me and KG on Woodward Nights have been talking about that for 2 weeks and saying eventually this bend, don't break, like that can hurt you. Like you're giving up 150 yards to all these receivers.
Playing with fire.
If that breaks, things are.
But you'll.
What?
Never mind.
What? Go ahead.
No, you're.
No, speak your mind, Jeff. Say space.
Yeah, you can't. What are we doing here?
Because we argue, and I tell you, hey, Booner, I don't think this year they're making the Super Bowl, and then you get all hot, but then you say that.
Listen.
It
part
could
of my
hurt
job
them.
is
It's worked to this point.
As much as you come at me, part of my job is to say, hey, these are some weaknesses. These are some things that they need to fit. That is, he asked a question. Hey, what is one thing that could happen if they end up losing? It would be because the corners give up 200 yards to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Like, if I had to pick one reason why I think this team would lose today, I don't think they will, and they're not going to lose. If I had to pick one, though, it's going to be because Mike Evans goes out for 150 and Chris Godwin hits 100, and you give up 3 touchdowns to them, and your secondary just breaks it all, and you're not getting stops in the red zone, you're not forcing field goals, and you're not getting turnovers. That's all it comes down to. I trust this offense. I trust the defensive line now, the linebacking group. It's going to be the secondary. It comes down to, can you get stops? That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're smiling like
no,
you go at the Booner Path. I mean, you must come on Woodward Nights at 9:00 and you don't watch all week because ask KG and ask the people watching. I break down and I let know, hey, this is what's going on. This is what needs to be fixed, and this is what's wrong.
So are you back to being an anti-pather? What's going on?
That's what it feels like here.
Yeah, I don't know. You was on the path, now you off the path. What's going on, Jeff?
We have a chance to go to the NFC Championship game, and he's over here talking. What are we doing here?
No. It's just funny because we'll have these discussions, Booner, and I'll raise some concerns to you.
You want me to guarantee that there's going to be a Super Bowl win? That's what you want from me.
Isn't that what the Booner
Path is showing, that there's an opportunity to go win the Super Bowl. Within the next 3-4 years, I believe that there will be a Lombardi Trophy in Detroit. That is a fact. There will be the way that this is going right now with Brad Holmes and Dan, there will be a Lombardi in Detroit in the next 2 or 3 years. That is a fact. This year, they have a chance to go do that. Is it a lock? No. I mean, I think anyone in the chat knows that they've been watching me. I've never said it was a lock, but I'm saying, hey, there's a path here. I'm opening your guys up here. There's a chance they're going to beat the Bucs today. Look at what the Packers did to the 49ers last night.
Yeah.
The Lions could go in there and beat them by a touchdown. And that's not a joke because the Packers went in there and dominated them.
Yeah.
49ers had no business winning that football game last night. No business. And you get there and you get to the Super Bowl, you're one game away from winning the Lombardi Trophy. So don't tell me that Booner path is stupid because that thing is in lockstep right now. I'm not going to guarantee it and lock it in, but I'm saying open your eyes up and look at the path right now, Jeff Eifredi.
I'm just trying to encourage you to just stand on business. Like, you think they could win by a touchdown, then they're going to make the Super Bowl.
I believe they can go in what the Packers did last night and dominated them, and the Packers didn't even play that great. I think the Lions can go in there and win that football game.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Jeff, but the 49ers definitely looked mortal after last night. They came out very slow. They picked it up in the second half, but if not for a Jordan Love mistake late in the game, who knows? We could be looking at a Packers win today, So I don't know how you feel about that, but I think the Lions can match up with the 49ers
Packers should have
personally.
won that game. The Packers should have won that football. They had no business losing that game.
They didn't.
They had like an 80% chance on ESPN at the end of the game.
You know why? Well, listen. You kick field goals, you're going to lose a lot. You're going to lose games in the playoffs, and that's kind of what happened. And the Packers missed a field goal. They went forward in the 49ers territory. It was just they melted down.
They did. Yeah, they should have made that field goal.
Yeah. And at the end, what did the Niners do? Scored a touchdown, and that's what
Jordan Love. That pass was.
And then obviously the turnovers. Yeah, that didn't help either. Burns says, Jeff, Booner is bad at explaining the Booner path. The Booner path is opening up to your mind to believe we can win a Lombardi every year with this core management. You
can win a Lombardi. Hey, that is the Booner path. It's, hey, listen, we're not on the level of being bad anymore.
Yeah.
This is we're like on those levels of the Ravens every year, the Eagles every year, the 49ers every year now. What they've built is something that going forward every year, our expectations should be, hey, there's a chance we can go win a Super Bowl. It's no longer like, hey, it would be awesome if we win a division. No, we're past that. It's time every year now. Brad Holmes has built up the last 3 years. He's gone 3 for 3 on drafts. Dan Campbell's one of the best coaches in the NFL. You have the pieces now. Now it's time to every single year you're competing for a Super Bowl. No ifs, ands, buts, nothing. You're competing for a Super Bowl year after year now. That's what it is. When Herman Moore, when I explained to him the path, he goes, Booner, you're right. I'm on the path because guess what? You have a team going forward, an organization, a regime going forward to where it's every year your expectation is you're competing in December and January for a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you're not competing for
how it is.
You're going to be competing for divisions, but you're not sitting there competing for a wild card spot. You're not sitting there competing for, maybe we can sneak in. No, you're competing to be one of the best in the league for the next 4 to 5 years.
That's a given, though. They're already, you know what I mean?
Guess what, Jeff? A lot of people don't feel like it's a given, and I have to explain it just like you.
Because
it's a year-to-year process. I wouldn't say it's a given.
It's just gradual. The first year you win. What does he win? 3 games. The next year 9 games. Now we're competing for an NFC Championship game. Going forward, the fan base is not going to accept anything else but a playoff win, an NFC Championship appearance, in a Super Bowl. You're contending for a Super Bowl.
That is true. But
that would mean you regress.
Success is not linear though, and then every year is different. Who's to say we might have a key injury next year that might keep us out? You got to take advantage while while the iron is hot. You got to strike
Absolutely.
while the iron is hot. But I get what Booner's saying. They are set up for success. Down the road, but we got to do what's in front of us right now, and right now that's beating the Buccaneers and trying to get to this NFC Championship game.
Absolutely, and I think they can do it. We'll break it down more in depth. We're going to break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Lions' offense matching up with this Buccaneers defense, because I do think the matchup for me is the Lions' run game against this run defense, because Tampa Bay, one of the best run defenses in the NFL, and you have a Lions run offense that is one of the best in the NFL as well. Great matchup. We'll discuss it when we come back. You're tuning into the Detroit Lions pregame show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Shout out to our friends over at Bullseye Event Group and our friends over at Long.
Shout out.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We're back. It's the Detroit Lions pregame show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Jeff Iafredi, Booner, KG, Michael Gentry with you as well. Appreciate you guys for joining. If you could do us a favor, hit the like button on the show. It does help support the show, and it kind of helps push out the show out there.
Hit that like button for the fellas, man.
It helps. The algorithm does us some favors. But we're breaking down the Detroit Lions taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We just kind of went through some of the storylines of the game. I want to get into direct matchups. Offense for the Lions, defense for the Buccaneers. It's very simple. And this is an offense that last week, 3 straight drives, 3 straight TDs. They kind of, struggled for the majority of the game after that. Only kicked a field goal. Only had 3 points after those first 3 drives. But for this week, Booner, this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, obviously, Todd Bowles running everything.
Yeah.
They're good, and they've been good. Now, there's been games like the Lions when they faced them early in the year where the secondary struggled. Now, over the last handful of games, the Buccaneers secondary has not given up a 300-yard passer. So they've been playing really well. You have one of the best run defenses in the Tampa Bay Bucs. Their front seven is very, very good. You got Vita Vea up in the middle. He's a large human being. This is 6'4", 360. So he's a lot to handle as it is. And then you have other guys in the defensive line that are having great years. So for the Lions and their offensive line, it's a great test. And the run game, it seems like over the last couple of games, has not been up to par with what we've usually seen, right? David Montgomery played decently well last week at times. But it just seemed like, and especially in the second half, they just couldn't get the run game going when they needed to. Jahmyr Gibbs didn't have a Jahmyr Gibbs type of game. If you want to have some success today, to me, it starts with getting things going on the ground. I think it starts with Dave Montgomery and Jahmyr getting back to those games we watched where, David has 50, 60 yards, Jahmyr has 50, 60 yards. They each have a TD. Now, is it going to be hard to do that? Absolutely. But you know what helps that? You have a healthy offensive line, and it's been a while since they have that for consistent games. Yeah,
I'm going to change up a little bit too here because I think that running game, I think where they've gone away a little bit, and I don't have the exact stats here, but if you go look at David Montgomery's carries the last few weeks, when the run game kind of went down, his carries have gone down a little bit, and I think that's what they need to get back to is let's ground and pound with D-Mott, and we'll get Gibbs involved. And there was a month ago where I said, hey, it's time just to get Gibbs number 1, but D-Mott has been forced to where he's been very reliable. He gets 4 or 5 yards per carry. There's been times the last 2 or 3 weeks, though, it feels like Ben Johnson's gone away that just to give Jahmyr the carries. And I think they have to get back to where, hey, David, and it'll open so much more up for Jahmyr. So I do think today that's kind of needs to be the key is, hey, we need to get David Montgomery the rock, because remember last week when they started going away from David Montgomery and going to Gibbs was struggling a little bit. Yeah. And that's just what it is the Rams had a good run defense plan for Jahmyr Gibbs, and it felt like they were crowding him the whole time. Today, Todd Bowles is going to have a plan ready to go. You saw what he did versus the Eagles last week. I think this line, this offensive line and these 2 running backs, though, you have to dominate the game. That's one of the number 1 keys of this game is dominating the run game, set up for play action. Put Jared Goff, there's going to be pressure coming at Jared Goff. The way to beat it, set up the run game, play action, then you can pass the ball. Like, that's what it is. And I think David Montgomery, it starts with David Montgomery. I have some things for Booner Betts. I have some things with him. Little tease ahead. I think it's a big game for him.
Yeah,
I truly do.
I would agree. And you look at last week for the Buccaneers, they faced the Eagles. The Eagles could not run the ball. And that's, it is, especially considering they have one or two the best offensive line in football. I'd put them 2 behind the Lions, but if you want to put them 1, fine. They couldn't run the ball last week against the Tampa Bay Bucks. And what happened was, you had the offense for the Buccaneers scoring, and then you had the Eagles playing from behind. Now Jalen Hurts is having to drop back every single play, and you're allowing this Buccaneers pass rush to just run wild. And that's a recipe for disaster. Dan Campbell spoke about that earlier this week as well. Like, hey, we don't want Jared Goff to come out here and have 40-plus pass attempts, 50-plus pass attempts, even though in Tampa early in the year he did. He had over 40 pass attempts and completed like 30-something of them, had 300-something yards and played really well. The run game was just missing. You have those 2 backs now. You don't have Craig Reynolds leading your team and rushing in a football game, right? You have Jameer and David. So I think the recipe to win this game will be different than what it was early on. The secondary for the Bucs is playing a lot better. So for this offense for the Lions, get the run game established, play action, keep this defense guessing, and not allow them to just pin their ears back and get loose, KG. Because if you allow them to do that, it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, absolutely. But I have confidence in this run game. They haven't seen a full complement of our run game yet, and to me, Jahmyr Gibbs should really have a good day. They haven't seen his speed quite like Jahmyr Gibbs yet this season. And if they get to the outside and are able to get some of those outside runs, I feel like they'll do very well. You kind of want to go away from Vita Vea. He's going to eat up a lot of space in that interior run. So look for Jahmyr Gibbs to have a good game on the ground, particularly on the outside.
And real quick, too, I just looked at these stats here. The final 3 games that they had for the regular season, when they started to kind of heat up a little bit, they played the Panthers, Saints, and the Jags. Those teams in rushing offense, 20, 21, and 24. So they have been, yes, they've been getting stopped in the run, but they haven't played like in the Eagles. I mean, if we're being honest, they are top 10, but
one of the best offensive lines.
If you look at the last 6-7 games of the Eagles, they haven't been great anyways. So like you look at their last 4 or 5 games, it's not like they've gone up against like an elite run game. They've been getting stops and stuff, but you should be able today, with your offensive line and the best running back duel in the NFL, you should be able to go out there and set a tone and dominate in the run game and set everything else up. Because that's going to take time off the clock. That's going to steal possessions from them. Like, that's what that does, the run game does. Like, Ben Johnson needs to establish that today. Needs to.
Yeah.
If you want to win this game, you have to do it.
Yeah. And again, turning the football over is how you, especially you look at last night's game. The Packers were in it, and 2 turnovers. And it doesn't help. I mean, both teams are turning the football over. That's going to hurt your chances, especially if you're the Detroit Lions. You're the better football team. If you're turning the football over, if you're putting the ball in the air 40-plus times, you're bound to give one up. It's just that's just how the math works. Unless you're having a really, really great game, but ideally you get the run game going, and that can neutralize a lot of stuff. I do want to bring up a player that I think today could have another significant impact, and that's Josh Reynolds, because what he did last week, I know Jameson is another guy that you look at, but Josh Reynolds, man, in the first quarter, what he did, you look at this Buccaneers secondary, specifically at corner, Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, guys that are good corners, but they just, especially Jamel Dean, isn't having a year like we've previously seen with Jamel Dean. Yeah. I think another guy this week they're looking at, and of course Sam Laporta one more week healthier, and I think the Tampa Bay Bucks haven't been great defending tight ends, so we'll see with that. I think Josh Reynolds is another guy you look at to kind of lean on this game once again.
I agree. I mean, at the beginning of the year, he was going off the first 7 games, and you were, what, 4-2, 5-2 in that stretch when he's kind of dominating, and it gives you another weapon. The last 2 weeks, 7 targets, 5 catches each week. Back-to-back weeks with 5 catches.
Consistent.
And he's someone you can really rely on. And he went away for a little bit throughout the year. But when he's going and he's back, that is so, like, to have Amon-Ra St. Brown, and they have to worry about Josh Reynolds. They have to worry about Sam Laporta. They have to now worry about Jameson Williams and Jahmyr Gibbs in the pass game. Like that, like if you take Josh Reynolds away, I mean, they're able to kind of key in on more different guys.
Yep.
Put Josh Reynolds out there, they don't know who they can key in on, because Josh Reynolds will go off, and he'll go off quick. He'll turn a 5-yard pass into a 20-yard touchdown, and he's shown us that all season long. So I think he's going to have a big game. He might be in one of my parlays, to be honest.
And he has to be.
The Booner lay of the day, he may be in that.
Yep. He's a first down getter, definitely.
Look at Uncle Stoop. Shout out to Uncle Stoop, by the way. He's hating, but I still appreciate him. He says, Jeff telling somebody to stand on business when he's the ultimate fence sitter is insane.
Get him, Jeff.
Nobody says fence sitting is Jeff's national pastime. Man,
Uncle isn't wrong.
No, this is the impact of Neil Rule.
Right.
Because if you watch the show, I do not fence sit. But that's the joke Neil Rule has, and now they run with it. So
Love your picket fences.
yeah, Booner. I do, for sure.
No comment.
Name something I've sat on the fence with.
Nothing, man.
That's what I thought.
Let's lock in here.
It's usually how it goes. Let's head to break. When we come back, we'll talk about this Lions defense, match it up with this Bucs offense.
Lions,
Evans,
baby.
Godwin. That's a problem. Lions at corner, we know they're not strong. We'll discuss that when we come back. Shout out to our friends over at Bullseye Event Group and our friends over at Long Drake. We'll see you in a little bit.
Peace.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Hey!
We're back. Detroit Lions pregame show here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Oh, man.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you. Big game for the Lions today. I'm excited. Booner's excited. KG's excited. Michael Gentry's excited. And this is an opportunity for the Lions to have a statement game.
Huge.
Let the league know.
Game.
Let the league know. Yeah, the 49ers play the Packers close. We'll see. And certainly the Bucs are respectable. Respectable. But hey, go out and prove it. Go out and smack them around in front of a packed Ford Field, 60+ thousand people.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if you do think it is a chance for the Lions, like we talk about
Statement
49ers, the Ravens, this is a chance for them to go out there. If they go win by a touchdown or like a couple double digits,
oh yeah,
people are going to be like, okay, maybe they had, like this is good. I saw the spread for the early look ahead. They have the spreads out already for the Lions 49ers and Bucs 49ers. Lions 49ers I think was like 6.5, 7. Like it was almost a touchdown. So if you go out there and you win by double digits here and you dominate, that right there, that's going to move right away, and people are going to respect you a little bit, and they're going to say, hey, the Lions are on this level. I think that's what you have to do today, to be honest, is go out there and show you're on the same level as some of these top contenders.
And now let's look at the defense, because we kind of talked about this earlier, but we know corner's a problem. No one's denying that.
Yeah.
The last, stretch of games, large stretch of games, it seems like every week you're giving up 150, 200 yards to opposing wide receiver ones, but that's the trade-off when you run a bend don't break approach, right? You're giving up these chunk plays, but you're not allowing touchdowns. You're forcing teams to take 3, which it's been working, so I don't want to say it's going to catch up to them, but also there is a risk of that. We kind of discussed that. And I think they can do a similar approach this game because, number one, Baker Mayfield has done a good job lately of not turning the football over, but there's been stretches where he has turned the football over. Actually, fun fact, when the Lions played the Buccaneers early in the year, it's the only game I believe Baker had 2 picks. He had an interception without a touchdown. Every other game he's thrown an interception, he's thrown a touchdown pass. That was the only game, or one of the only games, I'd have to double check that, where he had turnovers but didn't throw a touchdown pass.
Yeah, it looks like it here. I'm looking at it.
So, and yeah, you can confirm that for me. So for this week, yes, Mike Evans, there's going to be plays, and there were certainly opportunities in the game earlier at Tampa Bay where they just didn't connect. There's going to be there's going to be big plays. There is, on both sides, I believe. But the ideology comes back to Booner to you just can't give up 7. That's you can't give up 7. You can't give up 6. You have to hold them to 3. And with this Lions offense, we know they scored touchdowns. That's got to be the recipe. I'm not asking to shut down Mike Evans. It's not going to happen. But if you could be opportunistic, that's how you win this football game.
All right, I want to break this down because I'm not a football coach or anything, but this is how I imagine it, right? From what I've heard and speaking with people, this secondary, when you're playing a long field here, Jeff, in that long field, like you can, like those corners and safeties, they can give up a ton. But once you get in the red zone, where they've been really good at, I think they're top 5 in the NFL now in red zone defense. The Detroit Lions are. Once that field closes down and they don't have as much space to work, the receivers and Baker Mayfield, they don't have that space to work. That's where the Lions have been very, very good. They've been bad in these long field situations, giving up deep passes. But as soon as they get in that red zone, they've been able to get the stops. And I think it goes all the way back to, remember that Chargers game that like first and goal at the 1, and they got like 4 or 5 or like 6 straight stops at the 1 yard line. Yeah. And there was like flags, there was this, there was that, but they just kept getting the stop, kept getting the stop. That was kind of, to me, where I was like, okay, this red zone defense, they can be legit. And they've proven that for the last 4 or 5 weeks in this kind of stretch of football that, hey, as soon as they get inside the 20, we're not giving those deep balls up. And they're going to have to earn it. And they've had to earn it because, to be honest, like they forced so many. How many field goals have they forced the last 2 weeks? A ton. Yeah. And that's what you want to do. And at the end of the day, too, if you're forcing field goals, and then, which they haven't really done last week, they didn't do last week, but create turnovers as well versus Baker Mayfield today. If you're forcing field goals and creating turnovers and getting extra possessions, that is the recipe to win this game, and comfortably too. Like, not just to win it by a touch. That's how you win a game, by what the Ravens did yesterday. Is you force field goals and you force turnovers. You win, like, that is it. And I know it's like very cliche. I know you came on our show Friday like, oh, the turnovers is cliche. In the playoffs, Aaron Glenn said it a couple weeks ago. When the playoffs come around, the teams that win the Super Bowl are the teams that force turnovers on defense. It's not the teams who get the most stops. It's the teams who get the most turnovers because you're giving your offense that extra possession. Absolutely. That is what it comes down to. That's what you have to do today.
And I'm more confident against the Bucs for the whole bend don't break approach than I was against the Rams, and it worked. But you had a better quarterback, I think, better wide receiver core. So I think Puka is having a better year than Mike Evans. So I think that approach could work this game.
Yep.
I do. But when you face the reason why turnovers are everything is because once you start facing teams that punch it in and score 7, and they're not kicking field goals, that becomes an issue. But I think the Buccaneers, their offense, I mean, you mentioned it. The last game of the year, they beat the Panthers 9-0.
9-0.
Like, there's times where this offense just looks inept. Like,
do you want me to be honest with you? 9-0, and before that, they lost 23-13. So the 2 weeks before this playoff game they scored 9 points and 13 points. This is a team, I know they just beat the Eagles, but it's very blindsided about the Eagles lost 6 of their last 7, and this game was a blowout. So people are like, oh my gosh, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Look at their 2 games before that, 9 points and 13 points. You should be able to go out there, and this defense should be able to get stops.
Yeah, I agree with you. Then you look at least up front, Lions run defense. Aleem McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson. You got James Houston in on third down, John Kaminsky. What they're doing, Benito Jones, what they have in the middle and what they've done against the run has been impressive all year. It's actually been their what they take pride in defensively is, hey, we're going to stop the run. We're going to make you one-dimensional, and then we're going to force turnovers. We're going to give up chunk plays, but we're going to force turnovers. I'm not worried about that, Matt. I mean, what they did last week to Kyren Williams, who I think is the second best running back this year behind Christian McCaffrey in the sample size we saw. What they did to him, played him one of the worst games he's played all year. That gives me confidence. You're facing a Buccaneers run offense, rushing attack. That's 31st in the NFL. 31st. And you have one of the best run defenses. So it's a matchup that I don't want to disregard, Booner, but it's almost like if I'm making a guarantee, Rachaad White, they're going to be able to contain him. Now, he's a great pass catcher, but really it comes down to what they do through the air. I'm not worried about this run defense.
Not at all. And they're
going to be stout like they always are.
That's what kind of, when you're going up against an offense, like you take one complete part out of their game. That's why the Lions have been so good, I mean, to be honest, is they've been able to take the run game out. If the secondary was just that much better, this defense would be in my opinion, pretty damn good. Like, that's how I look at this. So, yeah, and you know what it comes down to as well is those linebackers. You have one of the most underrated linebacking cores, in my opinion, in the NFL with Anzo. Jack Campbell stepped up a ton. Derek Barnes. Like, you have had these guys. Rodrigo, when he fills in, it was great last year. So you have a fourth guy that's been really good. So I think kind of the interior guys and that linebacking crew today, big game for them.
Yeah, because
huge game for them.
You know what helps the run when you've got linebackers that are committed to stopping the run.
And what has AG been doing the last 3 or 4 weeks? He's been blitzing those guys as well.
Yeah.
So when it comes to outside the run game, when it comes to this pass game, those guys need to get home as well. So I think it's a big game for the D-line and those linebackers.
What about you, KG? Defensively, you kind of in lockstep with us with it?
Yeah, absolutely. The only way to really offset all the yardage is by protecting the red zone. Hopefully they do get some turnovers in this game, because I feel like the Buccaneers are a team that if you get turnovers, you can absolutely break them. 1 or 2 turnovers in this game by the Buccaneers could sink the whole game for them. So, yeah, you want to see them get after Baker. You want to see them make him make mistakes, because when he gets rattled, he is the type of quarterback that gets a little erratic, takes a little too many risks, and he will put the ball in the air for you. But yeah, definitely in lockstep, man, in regards to the defense.
One thing real quick too, what we haven't seen in the playoffs yet is a turnover. Ford Field off like an interception.
Man,
that's where the decibel record gets broken. Like a pick 6 from Brian Branch or C.J. Gardner-Johnson, or a fumble sack from Aiden Hutchinson. That's like, we didn't see that play last week, and it was already at 133. If you see a play like that really changes the game, that's when the crowd really gets behind you and gets going. Like, they're already behind you, but once you get, like, in the first half, if you get a turnover, or in the fourth quarter you get a turnover, that's when the crowd flips, and that's when, if a crowd like that in the playoffs flips, like you saw it in San Fran last night when they went and scored that touchdown, like, crowd flipped Jordan Love through the pit. Like, as much as you might think, oh, come on, Booner, it's a crowd. No, like, that affects the game very bad. Like, that will change the game, and Baker won't be able to hear. Like, that offense is going to change real quick after you already just threw an interception. Now you're fighting against the crowd.
I think the crowd played a lot in winning last game against the Rams because of the timeouts.
Yeah,
huge.
Like, those were huge.
Massive
like, that
timeouts.
ended the game at the 2-minute warning when you got the first down, because that was it. Like, they had no timeouts. So, I think the crowd certainly has a lot to do with this one. I know people are chiming in. We got some 49ers fans in the chat as well.
Wow.
So, hey, that's great. Checking in on their
Shout
potential
out.
opponents. The keys
Sounds like they're scared if they're checking in with us.
I think we would do the same thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
What? You wouldn't be checking in? Saying like, all right, what's going on over here?
No.
They already won? You're hanging out?
If we won, I'm
not in the chat anyway. We'll wait
if you're
till
that
we make it
that
official.
confident, you don't need to come in other chats and go at us.
Right.
That means there's a little bit of in the back of your head. You're like, oh, Lions team could be good.
The keys to wisdom says just took the Lions money line with a 50% odds boost and took Goff over 279 yards. Locks of the day. Goff over 279.5 yards and the Lions money line.
I'm not mad at that.
Don't
He had
hate
277 last week.
Yeah, I don't hate it. 279 is a lot though. Like, you're basically saying he almost has to get 300. That's for Jared Goff. I mean, he could do it, but you're banking on that.
If the run game's working, look out for that play action. Like I said, I want them to personally attack that secondary, because that is the Buccaneers' weakness.
I like that.
Let's head to break. We come back. We'll get into Booner's bets. We'll see what you got for us today, Booner. Maybe your legacy player of the week, because we're still going strong.
I have a legacy player.
We'll talk about that.
I'm ready to roll.
Some
Let's
of our
go,
favorite
baby.
bets and much more. You're tuning into the Detroit Lions pregame show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Stick around. We'll see you guys right after the break.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Welcome back to the Detroit Lions pregame show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It is that time of the show, Booner's Bets, the much anticipated. If you want to win some money, Booner, well, he gives them out to you. It's your opportunity. If you want to take them, take them.
Lose.
If you don't.
Man, never
Booner,
lost.
what do you got for us today?
I've got a few things here for you guys. I've got the legacy player. I think it might be 13-3 now. I don't.
Yeah, Jameer last week. It's okay. We'll just move on from that.
Yeah, I've
It
lost
happens.
track here because in the playoffs, I've just been locked into just winning football games.
Hey, I told you, that's St. Brown. I told you barbecue chicken with Quentin Lake. I saw
And
Quentin
he did
Lake.
go off. He didn't score a touchdown, though. That was the problem.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have hit anyways.
It's okay. Hey, bounce back week. Let's go.
Bounce back. We got
What do
our
you got?
legacy player of the game here today. This is what we're doing. The legacy player, I want it very well known. This is not a parlay, nothing. These are all 3 single bets. It's kind of split into 2 guys here. I'm going the legacy player, the running backs, though, fellas. I'm going David Montgomery touchdown -125. David Montgomery over 56.5 rushing yards. I think he goes out there, just like I said, Ben Johnson, pound the rock, pound the rock, pound the rock. Give D-Mont 15-plus carries and let him go out there and dominate. So that's over 56.5 yards. With that on the other side, I don't want to take Jahmyr Gibbs rushing, but what we're going to do is in the legacy player, we're taking Jahmyr Gibbs receiving. It's over 22.5 receiving yards. I love that. I think he gets 2 or 3 catches, breaks 1 off. I do think that they're going to look at him in the receiving game a lot more. So legacy player, D-Mont touchdown, D-Mont over 56.5, Jahmyr Gibbs over 22.5
So the run
receiving.
game. Both running backs. Like
Both
it.
running back, but Gibbs
Smart
is up
play.
receiving, though, 22.5. I wanted to kind of play that one smart a little bit.
Okay.
Because the last 2 weeks he hasn't been rushing very well. And obviously we know what Todd Bowles is going to do today. Single plays, though, I have 3 single plays with that. Amon-Ra St. Brown, just like you said, Jeff. He's been cooking. Every single week, he's almost a guaranteed 100 yards.
Unguardable.
And I don't see this secondary, like KG said, this secondary struggled a little bit. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 91.5 yards. I think he gets 100 plus. So if you even want to move the line and do 100, I think he gets that. I'm taking 91.5. Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown plus 105. He's going to get in the end zone today. And as well as I know I'm giving out 3 touchdown scores today, I think the Lions put up some points, over 30 points. Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown as well, -125. That's both running backs to score basically, and St. Brown to get in the end zone. Last thing I have, Booner's lay of the day.
Okay.
Ready for this? This has hit like 3 of the last 4 weeks, by the way. Plus 432 this week. It is a David Montgomery, 50 rushing yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 80 receiving. Josh Reynolds, I told you I put him in there, 25 receiving yards. Jared Goff, 250 passing yards. And I've never done this in the Booners Lay of the Day. I'm taking the over 44.5 alternate over for the game. I think this game goes, I think the over is 49.5. I moved it down to 44.5. I think it goes over that easily. I think we're looking at like a 30 to 20 something game here.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. What is that? Plus 4?
Plus 432. That is D-Mont 50, St. Brown 80, Reynolds 25, Goff 250, and over 44.5 on the game.
All right.
Look at that, Boone.
I've hit like 4 of the
mad at
last
that.
5 of those as well, by the way. So.
I like it.
Hey, so quick question in regards to my parlays, because I'm trying to win some money too. I was looking at I haven't seen the Lions yet, but I'm thinking about a Laporta touchdown and a James Houston sack. What do you think? Should I do both, one, or none at all?
I mean, if you put both together, that's going to be a good payout, I would have to guess. But the James Houston one, it does make me a little – I think they both make me nervous because they're both injured.
I feel it.
Both
but
guys,
he did catch a touchdown last week, despite
he did.
that.
In the red zone, I mean, I think they're going to look at Laporta. And I don't think on Woodward Nights, we talked about it. I don't think that he's going to be – I think he's going to be the same as he was last week.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Look at this comment. Swervin says, we haven't allowed a rushing TD in 5 weeks. Montgomery is not getting over 50 yards. Detroit wide receivers will eat for sure, but if you all win, it'll be because of Goff's arm.
All right, don't take the bet then.
Well, you didn't have a rushing TD. Well, you had the 50 yards.
No, I have 50. I have 50. Yeah, and
but that's like volume, though. Like if he gets 15
they're going to
carries,
run the ball.
Yeah,
he must be a Bucs fan. We're going to run the ball on you today.
Yeah, even if it's
going to happen.
I don't think it's going to be. You're rushing for over 150 yards. I just think that's. But they're gonna with high volume. He's gonna hit 50. You're getting 15 carries.
If he gets 15 carries, he will get 50 plus, and he will get.
It's like 3.5 yards a carry.
If the Detroit Lions are inside the 5-yard line, D-Mont will get in the end zone, and Jahmyr Gibbs. If they get in there another time, Jahmyr Gibbs will as well. That's just how it's gonna be.
Let's see. Keys to Wisdom says I like the over. 49.5 over the alternate, but should be a winner at 44.5 for sure.
Yeah, I think it goes over. I'll have my score prediction later in the show. I think it goes over.
I
think it gets over 50.
I like it.
Easily.
And if they do score a rushing TD, I think it's going to be Dave Montgomery.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I've been going
Gibbs
for a while, and there was that stretch where he got like four weeks in a row or whatever it was, and that was when I was we were hitting that, and I was giving it out. I think D-Mont recently, though, they know, like, hey, we have to pound it in there with him.
At the goal line, absolutely, yeah.
He's more trustworthy for sure.
Yeah, especially considering last week they tried to punch it in with D-Mont, and he just that was the Sam Laporta fourth down because they punched it didn't work. There goes Sam Laporta on fourth down. So I think this week I do think Montgomery gets in the end zone. Jason says Goff will choke the life out of the Bucs.
I love that. I hope he does. I hope he goes out there and throws for 300 plus yards and like 3 touchdowns.
He's playing confident, man. Don't put it past him.
Just because the numbers aren't looking like crazy, if you watch it, like he's been playing very well.
Hey, as long as he don't turn the football over, I'm good. I just want him to stay efficient.
That's it. Just take care of the football. That's all you have to do.
Pete says Goff will choke like his whole career. Just ask Bourne. He knows.
Come on, Pete.
And then Bourne says, Pete, the only thing is Baker could choke even harder than Goff, and that's what makes this game interesting.
That's big facts.
Yeah. I mean,
we've seen it.
Yeah. We've seen, yeah. I mean, in this, I think it's a good test for both because it's two quarterbacks trying to rewrite a narrative, and at least for Goff, he's had a bigger sample size of rewriting a narrative.
Yeah. Like
Baker's been on 3 teams last 3 years. Like, if you're asking me, Jeff, who do you think has a more opportunity to just implode? Yeah, I would go with Baker. But hey, both quarterbacks have tried to rewrite narratives. So Goff so far he's
done a great job. I don't know.
He's on a mission.
Him saying he's going to choke, it's like he's been in a lot of games this year to where he could have choked and he stepped up and won the football game.
And
so
last week was that game.
Week, like that's I don't get Pete. Just sounds like he's just a Tampa fan that doesn't actually watch football. I don't know.
Last week would have been the time he choked. I mean, the pressure that was on Goff, and he was balling.
Yeah.
Harry Clevin says Hutchinson will be all over Baker. Another opportunity for Hayden Hutchinson.
Think about this: 3 straight games with 2 sacks as well. So he's going out there and he is playing at his best. He's playing at his best.
And I told you,
now.
my X factor, I think for this game defensively is Aleem McNeil because of what he could do on both the pass game and the run game. If Aleem has one of the games we've seen in parts of his career where he just can't be blocked. Aiden and everybody else, James Houston on third down. It's gonna be a long night for Baker.
How many snaps? Someone put it in our chat the other day, I think, or
it was on our podcast.
Yes, over under 10.5 snaps.
I'm going over.
Yeah, definitely over.
I'm going under.
Really?
He's gonna play over 10.5.
I just don't think like the comments from Dan Campbell to me just didn't seem very like confident that he's gonna go out there and get 15 snaps. And like how many snaps was he getting last year when he was going anyways in situationals? Like I would love to see that.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I think they're going to need him to.
Look it up.
Yeah, it's the playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to need over 10.5.
Yeah.
You got to put one of your best pass rushers on the field.
Absolutely.
You just have to find a way to put him out there. Justin from North Carolina says James Houston playing. At this point, he is questionable, but he had a full practice all week. So I would assume he is. We'll wait till the official confirmation, Justin. But at this point, I would say yes. Absolutely, he's playing. Barring any setbacks, but at this point, yes.
They've been saving him.
Funky says Goff has moments, but he recovers well. Finesse Play says, I like to see James Houston take a step in the right direction against the run so we can utilize him on downs other than the third. Yeah, you know what? You are correct. Michael Morris, I believe Ben Johnson will use the Bucs' aggressive play against them and will win by 20 points. Speaking of use the Bucs' aggressive play against them, they're a team that loves to blitz. And when a team likes to blitz that much, you got to keep them on their toes. And you have a guy like Jameson Williams that can do that.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, you got to at least try a couple shots.
I may have to bet a J-Mo Tutty today.
Just to let the Bucs know, like,
sprinkle.
hey, if you blitz, we're going to try this.
I mean, that happened last game versus the Bucks. Like, that did happen. Like, they were throwing stuff at us, and they went deep to
But then
J-Mo.
once you hit a play like that, they're like, all right.
You set it up all game, all game, or you set it up the first quarter, and then all of a sudden, boom, you hit them, and then, okay, now they have to, like you said, they have to pull back a little.
Yeah, we're going to chill.
If you want to try it early in the game or you want to set it up for later in the game, I mean.
Just keep them honest.
That's why the run game is key. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. And keep dominating in that.
Contrary to popular belief, the Lions have been very good against the blitz, at least in the last 4 to 5 weeks. I kind of feel like the Vikings game kind of prepped them for the playoffs because they saw a lot of blitzing from the Vikings defense.
Yeah, and in this Lions offensive line and pass protection, like you saw what Goff looked like last week when he was not pressured. 22 of 22. He was perfect, actually. Mm-hmm. And then when he was pressured, he was over 4. So, like, ideally, if you protect him, this game, it'll take care of itself. So, really, and that's why I think the X factor.
The best offensive line in the
league.
Well,
that's why, and I think they're the best. And the reason why I say the X factor, who I think it is, I think it's the offensive line. It's group. Because they're going to dictate this game, both on the ground and in the passing game. It's very simple.
Because I remember the first Tampa game we played, like Vita Vea, man, he was in the backfield.
Yeah,
it felt like
no Jonah.
every time that he was back there. And I think today it's like if you keep him out and Kalijah Kancey out, is it Yaya? I love saying Yaya. Keep those guys contained. Like they can maybe get some of their own at some points and you can still be fine, but you do have to contain them because the last game Vita Vea, like you were without Jonah. Graham Glasgow was moved to, I think, to left guard that game.
Was.
Like there was moving around. There was a lot of things. You don't have David Montgomery last game, basically the whole game. No Jahmyr Gibbs. So this is as much as like on the Bucs side, they went, we're very confident, playing very well. Lions this is a night and day different Detroit Lions team that they've seen, and they're on the road. So I think the offensive line, like you said, I think that's X factor. I'm with you on that. I think they step up big time today too.
Yeah, and they have to. This offensive line, this team goes as far as the offensive line will take them. I believe that.
Yeah.
All year long, though, too. Like there was health issues, and what do we keep saying? If this offensive line is healthy come playoff time,
it's a problem.
This Detroit Lions team is one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
Like they are very scary.
It's going to be a problem for other
teams. That is their bread and butter. That is the heart of the team. Is the offensive line. They've built inside out. Brad Holmes is built inside out. That's what that today. Games like today is where it shows.
Trippy Gypsy says about to be a Niners-Lions NFC Championship game, like I told you in August, Jeff, you're going to do a show at the Cheeseburger now, right? Yeah, actually.
Whoa, this is a bet? I didn't.
No, funny enough, I went to the Cheeseburger Festival in Caseville, and I ran into Trippy Gypsy. And he saw me, and he recognized me, and he said, hey, Lions are going to the NFC Championship game. And boy,
there they are, baby.
Let's
go,
good.
Trippy Gypsy.
He was cooking. Let him cook.
How many burgers did you eat there?
A lot.
Really?
I can imagine.
I would love to go there. I love burgers.
It's Cheeseburger. It's a lot of fun.
We should all
been
go.
there a handful of times. Yeah, we should. Yeah, definitely.
I'm in.
But yeah, he called it.
Invited myself.
G-Man Street says O-line is critical, but Elite D wins Super Bowls. Baltimore looks like the beast as advertised. If we get in, they will have to be perfect to beat them. Yeah, I think at this point,
Baltimore is really, really good.
Ravens they're going to win this thing.
But did you what?
They're going to win the Super Bowl.
Relax.
They are.
They're not getting past the Bills. It's going to be a great. There are going to be some great.
The Bills have to get
games.
Past the Chiefs.
There's going to be some great championship games. I'm not worried about the Chiefs.
I picked the Bills too, but still, like, let's just worry about the Chiefs. The Ravens are a different breed.
What's crazy about this Ravens? Like, I'm looking up here right now, and it says Ravens win by 24 points after being tied 10-10.5. They can flip a switch if they want to. So that's where it comes down to. Now, maybe if you get them at a neutial site and they play a bad game, and Lamar turns back into that old playoff Lamar, then maybe you have a chance. But I still believe in the Lions.
You just named a lot of ifs. Right.
Well, I mean, dude, the whole playoffs is an if.
Right.
Right? Like, if the Detroit Lions go out there and score more points than the Bucs, they win today.
Exactly. Like, if the Ravens shit the bed in the foot. Dude, look at them.
You could say if about anything.
It's great. And Lamar, for a little bit there, I'm like, but no, Lamar balled out. He's a problem.
That defense came to play, too.
And that defense. That's why I picked the Ravens.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the Texans would cover.
So did I.
But
I did too.
the Ravens, man, I lean just because of the defense. Like,
I mean, at 10-10,
look
at
at
halftime, it was plus 9.5. It felt good.
The stat just popped up on the stream. Pressured Stroud and 46% of dropbacks.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And Devin Singletary couldn't do a damn thing on the ground.
Every 2 times Stroud dropped back, he was pressured.
Yeah.
Like that is once. That is.
I mean, but at the end of the day, like if you wanted to say the Lions-Ravens, like Lions are better than the Texans. Like they're going to put up a fight. I know what happened earlier this year.
Yeah.
But that kind of actually makes me feel good. If you play the Lions or the Ravens in the Super Bowl, when you get blown out earlier in the year, that's not happening two times in 1 year.
I do think they will put up a better fight this time around.
That is not happening twice.
Not saying they will win, but I do think they would put up a much better fight this time around.
Show me a contending team that's gotten blown out by the same times twice in one season.
Yeah, you can't.
Like, someone show me that. And if you do, like, okay, that's the biggest one-off of all time. Like, Jeff, come on. What are we doing here?
You think the Ravens running through the Lions if they see them again?
No. I just laughed.
And at a neutral site, you were on the road last time.
You guys said the game will be closer, and I'm like, yeah. Like, I hope. You see that game? That big game was an ass whooping.
Do you have no
faith
in us?
That was like the worst game of all time.
It's like one of those things. It's like nowhere to go but up. You know.
And the worst part about that,
it can't get worse.
The worst part about that is we were on the stream. It was like halftime.
And what happened?
Should
Lucas
we end the stream?
What happened? Someone
Lucas
didn't show
there.
up.
Yeah. But I was just like, should we like? In my head, I'm like, this is like we're sitting on the stream now. Everyone watching this is just watching us suffer. Yeah. The people were probably just watching us laughing at us like,
you got to expect a better effort this time around.
Dude, there's no way
it was over before it even started the last time.
There's no way you get blown out a second time
at a neutral site. Yeah. Come on now,
zero chance.
Yeah, they already went through it, so they went through the ringer, and
they know what to fix now. Like that's an advantage almost on the Lions side.
But the Ravens also know what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, but once you make adjustments, baby.
Like you said, only where to go but up. So it is what it is. Let's go to break here. We come back. We'll get into our score predictions. How about that? We'll give our score predictions out. Right. We'll discuss it, and you guys put your score predictions in the chat.
Lions, baby.
And I'll try to read as many as I can. Lions win, Bucks win, whatever it is. Put the score in, and I'll get to it. You're tuning into the Detroit Lions pregame show here on the Woodward Sports Network, brought to you by our friends over at Bullseye Event Group and Long Drake. We'll catch you right after the break. Stick around.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new down-home comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The down-home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of down-home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Welcome back to the Detroit Lions pregame show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Let's get into it. Game predictions, score predictions. We're going to go around the room. Everyone's going to give out their score prediction, how they see the game playing out. Keep it very simple, and then I'll read the chat, see what the people are feeling. Booner, I'll start with you. Give me your score prediction.
All right, I said it on Woodward Nights already on Friday night. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, and I do think it's going to get a little closer towards the end than maybe our liking. I think it'll be like a one-possession game at the end. I do think, though, fellas, this team, like, Lions get up to like a 21-7, 21-3 start. I think this is a hot start. They've done that.
We've seen that before.
Yeah, it feels like they do that all the time, and then they let the team back in. I think it's a similar type of game, if I'm just kind of breaking it down here. I have the Detroit Lions winning this game 31 and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 24. I think it's a touchdown game. They still cover because I think it's 6.5. So they still cover the over hits. But 31-24 is the prediction I have here. With the D-Mont touchdown, whoever in the chat said there's going to be no rushing. D-Mont touchdown, Gibbs touchdown, and St. Brown touchdown.
Okay.
Shout out, by the way, too. We got Eric Woodward in the chat.
Hey, shout out Eric.
He does great work.
Shout out Eric. Yeah, does a great job.
He's a goat. He says Jahmyr Gibbs is going off today. So
I feel it, yeah.
hey, he's spoken.
I think what you see too today, and I'm gonna stand on it. I think you see like a little screen pass that goes for like 40, 50 yards.
Yeah,
I think
he's catching them now.
Yeah, and like you saw that earlier in the year. He missed a couple, but you saw that. I think that happens.
Yeah,
and I think he gets in the end zone. Some what do you call it, Jeff? Some pay dirt. Him and D-Mont.
Touch pay dirt.
31-24 Lions though, baby. That's mine.
I'm going 30,
I love it.
I'm going 31-17. And we got a similar score. I think the Lions win this game by, comfortable margin. Especially early on, maybe the Bucs keep it close, but I think throughout the entirety of the game, the better team will come out on top. That's just how I see it. I think the favorite wins. Give me the Lions, 31-17, and Baker Mayfield throws 2 interceptions. Book it. 1 to C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Yep. So I'm standing pat at 26-17 Lions victory forward down the MF field. It's going to be kind of a struggle, but the Lions will get control of this game, and they'll maintain control of this game. The defense will get some stops today. You heard me right. The defense will get some stops today, hopefully a turnover, and I feel in my heart of hearts we will see a safety today. So shout out Jack Fox, but yeah, 26-17 Lions victory. Let's go.
They will get turnovers.
Paul Thomas says, Jeff, KG, Booter, you guys do a great job running the show. We appreciate you, Paul Thomas. You're the GOAT.
Hey, shout
Much
out.
love
Appreciate
to you.
you.
Always supporting
Shout out
us.
Paul.
Shout out
We
Paul.
always show love. Shout out.
BMG. Want to give a score prediction?
You actually stole my score prediction, so I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to go 35-17 now.
Wow.
Okay.
My boy Amon-Ra is getting in the end zone today, without a doubt. And I do think Eric Woodward is spot on. I do think Jahmyr Gibbs has a huge game on the ground today. I want to say his line was only at like 40 or 50. So I'm liking that too. Big day for Jahmyr Gibbs.
He can get half that one run.
Yes, he can.
Let's go.
I don't hate it at all. Let me get to some of these comments. People chiming in here, giving their score predictions. So let me go up to here. I'll start where people started going off. Okay. Terry says Lions 35, Bucks 14. Dom Rivera, Lions 28, Bucks 17. Ski Mask Boy 27-20 under. Amon-Ra gets 2.
Ooh,
Brendan
I like that.
says 35-24. Kiazi, Lions 31-16. Jay Owens 38-16 Lions. Paul Thomas says Lions 21, San Francisco 14. Oh, wait, that's next week. Lions 28-21 today. That's clever. I like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Captain Ginger. What a name. 31-21 Lions, baby. Hutch going to get a sack fumble as well. Swerving 26-16 Bucks. Bucks playoff defense is the X factor. There you go. Trisha Miller says, good show, guys. Appreciate you, Trisha.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
very
Shout
much.
out Trisha.
Mr. Ray, 27-20. W, baby. I don't know if it's GAMG channel. I don't know how to pronounce that. My bad. GAM, whatever the hell. 24-10 Lions. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's an acronym or what. Okay.
Seeing a lot of blowouts.
Harold Craig, 27-30 Lions. Okay. Garden Revelation, 31-17 Detroit. Like the score prediction. Lunchbox Hooligans. Lions 45-14. CJGJ pick 6. I love it. Trisha Miller, 28-17 Lions. Bill says Lions 32, Bucks 17. Vincent Ellison says 28-20 Lions, baby. Jay Cruzen, 34-27. John Lord, 45-6. 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 3 picks, and a pick 6 safety field goal block.
Man.
Wow.
I don't know what I do if
Is
they
this
had that
the
kind of
85
game.
Bears?
Hey,
Swear.
Can I throw 2 more bets out real quick that I'm going to play?
Go ahead, boom.
These are like long shots. These are little sprinkles. These aren't like, hey, put a whole unit on it. Not like a half a unit, just a little sprinkle here.
Okay.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson interception plus
Okay.
500.
I said it's going to happen.
Plus 500. I'm doing that.
Shout
So
out
if you guys
Santa.
want to ride with that, I'm going to do CJ interception at plus 500. I love that. I did it last week as well. Just going to double down here. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more on it. I think he's a ball hawk, man. And then the playoffs, man, he's going to get one. Another one here is I've rode this one before. I think this pass rush gets to Baker Mayfield today.
How many sacks, though?
Throughout the year, there's been 3, 4, 5 sacks on Baker throughout the year. I think they get if James Houston is back and he's ready to go, 5+ sacks plus 550.
A 5-sack game?
I think you see it. I think Aleem gets home. I think one of these linebackers gets home. I see Hutch get 1 to 2, and I think maybe if James Houston is playing, that other side gets a sack. That adds up to 5 right there.
It's plus money.
Yeah, at plus 550. I hit this bet, by the way, too. I've taken it about 4 times this year. Earlier this year, I took it at plus 1,700 and plus 1,500 and gave it out on the show. Today, it's all the way down to plus 550. I think I actually gave it out last week and it didn't hit. But I'll go back to back on that, just like the C.J. Gardner-Johnson one. It's going to hit.
Okay.
They're going to get 5 today on Baker. I have a feeling. I just think they're going to pressure in the way AJ is going to draw things up. He wants to get blitzes.
Is there a sack? Is there a special for it?
5.
How
plus
much?
550.
Yeah, you're right. They are lower.
I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it.
We'd love to
a little
see
sprinkle on it.
They are lowering it for a reason.
They lowered it a lot.
Remember when it used to be at...
Dude, I hit it. I handed it out twice this year at plus 1,700 and plus 1,500. It's all the way down to plus 550.
Remember when it was at plus 1,500? Yeah, remember we hit that.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big
now it's
time.
plus 550.
If it's 5 sacks, Houston definitely gets a sack in that.
Yeah. All right. That'll do it. Broder in the chat. Let's go Lions.
Shout out Broder. Lions, baby. Let's go. This thing right here. 3 more games, baby. Till Lombardi.
1 game at a time, though.
Paul Thomas says, James, the problem, Houston sound services a Houston sack, ? Yeah, I think if Houston gets a sack, that place is going to go nuts too.
Oh, absolutely.
I do. All right, guys, appreciate you so much. If you're going to the game, be safe, have fun down there. I know people are already tailgating. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know the snow is kind of clearing up a little bit. It's not snowing as of right now, so that's great news. Be safe down there. Be loud. Make the Bucs uncomfortable. Just like all you guys did last week. You guys did a great job of that.
If you're there, dominate.
We need that one Pride Nation, Lions Nation to kind of show up here and kick some ass.
It's the last home game of the year.
Yeah, you know what? Boo children. Do whatever you got to do. No, I'm just kidding. That's. But you know what? Do what you got to do. All right, we're out of here. Don't forget Watch Party. It'll be here. You can tune in if you're at home watching the game. Feel free to watch it with the crew as well, and then we'll have the post-game show afterwards. And then tomorrow I'll be at Feldman for the Morning Woodward Show to recap it all. So tune in for that 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and Woodward Nights, of course, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget before you leave, like the stream. It helps us. And then later, we'll probably be live on Crunch Time. We'll be chopping it up tonight. So until then, we'll see you guys. Deuces. Have a good one.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.